Bridal shop owner Annabelle falls in love with the son of her competitor, then fights hard to stay with him despite the differences. In the opening scene, we see Annabelle rushing to her unopened store. She apologizes for being late and they get to work quickly. She and her colleague discuss the bridal shop across the street and how their dresses might seem uncomfortable for the brides. Still, Annabelle makes it known that she doesn't want to mess up their business but instead provide something the brides will be more comfortable in. Across the street, we look at the already open bridal shop and its elegance. The bride tries the dress on while her mother is there to judge. However, the bride, not satisfied with the dress, asks her mother whether they could check out the bridal shop that's about to open before they make a decision. Despite waiting for their appointment for 6 months, the mother agrees and the owner and her assistant are slightly upset. After working in the shop, Annabelle has lunch with her father who expresses his concern about her dating life. Once the business starts thriving, Annabelle promises to focus on her life, but her father reminds her that she can't keep hiding behind her work forever. Back at the store, Annabelle does a try-on with a customer who admits to feeling uncomfortable in Ever After, the bridal shop across the street. The bride-to-be is concerned about her husband choosing to play golf on their honeymoon, but Annabelle assures her that it doesn't mean that it will go downhill. As the bride, Annabelle, and Maya are talking, a man with golf equipment walks into the shop. Annabelle rushes the bride away as she reminds the man that it is bad luck to see the bride's dress before their wedding day. Seeing the man with golf equipment, she assumes that he's the groom, but he turns out to be just a kind stranger. Annabelle notices her car getting towed and the man, whose name is Sam, reveals that he wanted to tell her but she wouldn't let him speak. Sam rushes to his golf practice when an elderly woman greets him. She is a close friend of Sam who is always looking out for his love life. However, he reveals that the date he had wasn't great. Success seems to be knocking at Annabelle's door as Maya lets her know that their audience is growing, even before the shop opens. The next time Sam and Annabelle see each other is accidental as well. While sitting at a cafe, Sam comes around and asks Annabelle if he can sit next to her. Wanting to start a conversation, Annabelle lets him know that he could have stopped her before her car got towed, but he reminds her that he couldn't even get a word in. He offers her his muffin as a peace offering, and even though she claims not to eat sweets, she steals it from him. He notices that she misspelled the word matrimony in her word game, so he lets her know that she's wrong. Relying on the word, he lets her know that she doesn't seem the type to aid and abet bridezillas, but she makes it known that her shop is for the non-bridezillas, simply for future wives to feel comfortable and pretty without having to suffer. However, Sam asks her to admit that once a woman gets an engagement ring, she is doomed to bridezonkers. Before leaving, Sam hands her a business card in case she needs some help in court. Sitting by his desk, Sam gets a call from his mother who nags him about his dating life like Beverly. He finds himself in need to go back to work, so he hangs up on her before an invitation to Sam's shop pops up on his screen. While Annabelle's putting the dresses to their places, a notification on her phone gets her attention. She wonders if she invited him by accident, and Maya admits that it was her who invited him. The night of the party comes and Annabelle is seen trying to make a good name for her store as she approaches the owner of Ever After and her assistant. She doesn't know who she's talking to but makes sure to compliment them both as she assumes that they're a couple. Once Claire makes it known that she is the owner of the bridal shop and Edward is her assistant, she hands Annabelle a welcoming basket. She thanks her but claims not to eat sweets as she proceeds to fill her mouth with them. Claire doesn't have faith in the shop and gives it 3 months tops, but as some ladies are passing by her, she overhears them talking about how bad Ever After is compared to Annabelle's store. After the opening party is over, we can see Annabelle and Maya cleaning up while talking about Sam. Maya tries to give him the benefit of the doubt, but Annabelle asks her not to give it too much attention, but to focus on the dinner they'll be having. Besides that, Annabelle believes that she isn't even Sam's type because he's a lawyer. Their conversation is interrupted by the door opening, and they are surprised to see Sam walking in. He apologizes for being late, but Annabelle lets him know that she's about to go to dinner with Maya. Taking the chance to bring them closer, Maya suggests they go to dinner together as she heads home. Sam suggests a rib place, but Annabelle declines since she's vegan, so he suggests an Italian restaurant, but she lets him know that she's off gluten. In the end, he asks her to choose and she suggests they stay to enjoy some Dalai Lama momos. After enjoying some Ethiopian food, Sam and Annabelle close the shop and walk to Sam's car. At first glance, Annabelle can't believe that the car is Sam's because he didn't strike her as the vintage guy. They get into an argument about differing the words vintage and classic, which Sam thinks that they're complete opposites. Stopping in front of Ever After, Annabelle starts trashing the dresses and the owner, but Sam reminds her that the owner might need some time to warm up. Shockingly, the next morning we see Sam with his mother, who is the owner of Ever After. He tries to tell her about Annabelle and her shop, but just like Annabelle, she interrupts him to talk badly about "So you said yes." Knowing that things aren't good between them, Sam chooses not to say anything about Annabelle just yet. The next time Sam and Annabelle see each other is not to go on a date but an outing. Since Annabelle doesn't consider it a date, she had decided to take Sam on a thrifting spree. While browsing through the shop, she asks him what he thinks and he gives her some points for creativity. Pulling out a silk shirt, she calls it the perfect wedding dress, but Sam can't see her vision. She explains her vision, how she sees a woman entering a grand ballroom in 1942. A soldier comes up and asks her to dance, and as they're dancing he tells her that he's going to ship out, but eventually, they get married. Sam finds an old watch that says "I will love you till the end of time" on the back of it, and Annabelle can't help but be excited for it. As they're talking, Beverly comes into the store expecting to see Sam after spotting his car in the front. She assumes that they're on a date, but Annabelle corrects her that it's an outing. Later in the evening, we can see both of them walking back to the shop. Stopping in front of it, Annabelle lets him know that she's enjoyed her night, so he takes the chance to ask whether she would want to go out again. She agrees to it, and like the true gentleman he is, he opens the door for her to get in. As time passes, Claire carefully observes what Annabelle's doing with her shop and tries to copy her. And since Edward's her assistant, it is his job to take care of it all, which he always seems to mess up. Similar to her interests, Sam takes her to a golfing court as their second date. As he's showing her how to position herself, he spots an eyelash that has fallen to her cheek. Picking it up, he asks her to make a wish, and after she does, he leans in and they share their first kiss. Annabelle manages to get a hole-in-one when a woman approaches them. She is an old friend of Sam's named Hillary, and Annabelle notices how close they are. Hillary lets her know that they dated a long time ago, but Sam changes the topic to Annabelle and her new bridal shop. That is a bad idea as well, because just as Hillary is about to mention Claire's bridal shop, Sam chimes in, stopping her from exposing the truth to Annabelle. Over at Ever After, Claire can't help but lurk around the internet for Annabelle's page. They find out that they're giving massages to customers, so Edward suggests they give away a holiday to Hawaii for their honeymoon. Keeping the bizarre ideas coming, he suggests they team up with the local animal shelter and give away puppies to every bride. Tired of his silly ideas, Claire asks what their stats are, only to find out that Annabelle's shop has more followers than they do. Wanting for them to have a special date, Annabelle invites Sam to her house and prepares some delicious international food. Unfortunately, the food burns and they're forced to order pizza, which Annabelle apologizes for. However, Sam lets her know that it doesn't matter where they are or what they're doing, he needs to be with her. Time passes and the two lovebirds are getting closer and closer. However, they don't have any labels and Sam finds it irritating, which is why he decided to ask her. Finally opening up to him, she lets him know that after her mother's death, her father always had a partner by his side, which made it less special to her. She is afraid to put a label on it as she fears it is the beginning of an end. But Sam asks her to look differently at it, as a beginning to a beginning. A mix-up happens that forever changes the relationship between Claire and Annabelle. Claire rings the door to the mayor's house, thinking that she'd be the one dressing mayor's daughter, but to her surprise, she sees Annabelle already there. The mayor's wife apologizes for mixing up the schedule, but Claire lets herself in while saying that she'll love to see the dresses Annabelle has. Annabelle pulls a kimono-like dress for the bride since she studied in Japan. Keeping the theme Japanese, she suggests the place and the food for the ceremony as well. Chiming in, Claire lets them know that it's not patriotic for the first family in their town to wear something of another culture. Instead, she presents a dress that is more Downton Abbey as she imagines her walking down a grand staircase carrying an English rose bouquet. Claire reminds the bride that she comes from a respected family, therefore, she should keep the tradition. However, Annabelle chimes in to disagree with her by calling tradition non-unique, but Claire assures her that she means something of high esteem. The mayor's wife gets overwhelmed, so she asks both of them to leave. Exiting a cafe, Claire spots Hillary, and that's when she comes up with a plan to set her up with Sam. She invites Hillary to Parker's anniversary at Mateo's at 7:30, and does the same thing with Sam. Later in the evening, as Maya and Annabelle are taking a walk, they spot Sam entering Mateo's with a bouquet in his hands. Curiosity gets the best of them, so they get closer to the restaurant to peek in. Claire tries to get Hillary and Sam talking, but he pulls her aside to let her know that he's seeing someone. As they're talking, Maya and Annabelle have already entered the restaurant and are hiding behind flowers. Sam starts talking about her when he spots her hiding, so he motions for her to come out, and the truth's finally out. The next morning, we can see Annabelle at the store, where she continues to ignore his calls. Maya lets her know that she's letting her fear get in the way of her happiness, but Annabelle protests, as she doesn't want to start a relationship based on lies. Maya asks her to give him another chance, but Annabelle doesn't want it because she has already trashed her mother to him multiple times. To ease her mind, she goes to yoga, but Sam finds his way there as well. Getting a pad, he positions himself next to her and tries to apologize. She doesn't want to hear it and even claims that their relationship wouldn't have worked for many other reasons. She starts piling on unreasonable problems while focusing on the fact that his mother hates her. He asks her to give him another chance as she's the only girl that's been different from many similar girls. He lets her know that she makes him feel wonderful and she gives in. Right before they kiss, the instructor comes between them to remind them that they're at yoga. Continuing with the session, Sam asks Annabelle to give his mother a chance as well and lets her know that she's expecting them at dinner in the evening. Sam waits for her to get ready when she comes out wearing something that she usually wouldn't. He asks her where his Annabelle went and she admits that she only wants to impress his mother and finds it hard to face her after all the insults she had given her. Luckily, Sam is very understanding, so he asks her to change into something more appropriate to her personality while claiming that his mother would love her. To break the ice, Sam lets his mother know that Annabelle loves to travel. Thinking that it's a topic they could bond over, Claire starts talking about the different places she's visited only to find out that Annabelle has only watched documentaries about them and never been there. Sam gets a call in the middle of eating, so he excuses himself. Left alone with Claire, Annabelle finds it awkward, so she compliments the photo behind Claire. Claire gets sensitive as she stares at the picture of her and her late husband. Annabelle compliments her dress, but she thinks that it's too simple. Looking at the picture with such love, Claire admits that nothing mattered for them but to get married. She admits that she couldn't have the dress of her dreams, revealing that she opened the bridal shop to give the brides what that she couldn't have. After dinner, Sam and Annabelle walk hand in hand when she accidentally admits to loving him. Realizing what she said, Sam stops and lets her know that he loves her as well, and even though she struggles to say it back, she tells him she loves him. The next morning, Annabelle's father can be seen walking into the shop. He spots the flowers with a lovely note on them, so Annabelle decides to take him lunch. She lets him know that she's in love and he advises her to be fearless, especially when it comes to love, as the payoff is a lot bigger when she is. As Sam's working, his mother comes in to bring him lunch. She lets him know that he spends too much time with Annabelle and that is why she had brought Hillary over. As they're left alone, Hillary apologizes but claims that she couldn't get out of it. She asks about Annabelle and how serious they are, so Sam shows her the screen of his computer as a beautiful engagement ring shines. However, he admits to struggling to find the perfect way to propose to her, so Hillary offers to help. Grabbing coffee with Annabelle, she hopes to find out more, but it goes disastrously. Annabelle and Sam's first date was in a thrift store while his and Hillary's was a hot air balloon ride. Sam and Annabelle usually spend their weekends eating pizza and watching movies while Sam and Hillary used to go sailing. Not wanting to hear any more romantic stories, Annabelle excuses herself politely before leaving. Storming into Sam's office, she asks him to honestly tell her if he's still interested in Hillary. Sam is surprised to hear her say that, as he denies that he is. He assures her that their nights eating pizza while watching movies is what he loves, but lets her know that if she wants to go sailing he would take her. She is finally relaxed, so he takes the chance to get down on one knee and ask her to be his wife. She says yes and they share a passionate kiss, but they don't know that Claire's been watching the whole time. To re-establish their relationship, Claire goes to Annabelle's shop where she intervenes with the bride's choices. Thankfully, she realizes that her style may not be the same as everyone's, so she steps aside and waits for Annabelle to be finished. They finally get a chance to talk, so Claire lets her know that even though their styles are different, she would be more than happy to help her. Losing her mother at an early age, Annabelle lets her know that she would love for her to be there. Claire takes the green light as a sign to do it. Also, Sam and Annabelle are forced to pretend to like her ideas. Inviting 200 guests to their wedding and having dishes on the menu that Annabelle doesn't eat are just some of the things Annabelle agrees to before realizing that she has to set up some boundaries. Entering the salon, she waits for Claire to be over with a client before telling her the truth. However, she chickens out at the last minute and tells Claire that she loves the dress that's next to her. Excited for her to be wearing something more traditional, Claire asks Edward to help Annabelle try the dress. While the dress looks gorgeous on Annabelle, it is simply not her style, and that is why she tries to get out of it. Sam comes to the store, and they hide Annabelle in the dressing room so he doesn't see her. While Annabelle is changing out of her dress, Claire lets Sam know that their relationship is changing for the better. Sam thinks that Annabelle has finally confronted his mother, and she tries to tell him that she hasn't, but he doesn't let her say a word. At the engagement party, we can see Annabelle with her father. As they're looking around, they get approached by Claire, who introduces them to some family friends. Annabelle's father, being the flirt that he is, makes sure to compliment Claire about how young she looks for her age. The engagement party is a total mess for Annabelle. She gets bombarded with questions about the future by Claire's business friends. She gets so stressed that she starts stress eating, and Sam notices that. She lets him know that his mother hasn't been of help either, so he decides to do something about it. He sits his future wife and mother down and asks them to be completely honest with each other. Annabelle goes first, and she assures Claire that she appreciates her help, but lets her know that she has dismissed her ideas on some occasions without even considering them. Claire apologized as it wasn't her intention to dismiss her ideas. Sam asks Annabelle to give some examples, and she pulls out 3 pages that were originally 4. Starting with the first issue, she states that Claire had made a fish face when it was suggested the cake be tiramisu. Confused, Claire lets them know that she loves tiramisu, just not as a wedding cake, but they let her know that it was the first dessert they shared. Instead of accepting and admitting that she was wrong, Claire attacks Annabelle for making an impulsive decision. She reminds her that it's not only her wedding but her son's, and proceeds to blame her dismissal of tradition on her father marrying many times. Instead of making things right, Claire manages to break off the wedding as Annabelle realizes that she'll never be good for her son. With tears in her eyes, she hands Sam the engagement ring back before leaving. She doesn't take the breakup well as we see her stress eating in her store. A customer walks in ready to get the dress of her dreams, but Annabelle drives her away with her negative opinions about marriage. Her father comes to the rescue with the couch story. Sitting next to her, he lets her know about the blue and orange plaid couch that her mother hated. While her father loved the couch, her mother hated it, and they even got into a huge fight regarding it, which became a fight regarding everything else but the couch. They had called off their engagement but later re-engaged because their love was stronger than the couch. It had huge importance to her father because the woman he wanted to marry had sat on the couch, so they later came to a solution by putting a slipcover on it. Before leaving, he reminds her that it's not important where they come from but where they're going as a couple, as he asks her to give Claire and Sam another chance. Edward gives some advice to Claire as well. It may not be the nicest, but she listens carefully. He opens her eyes as he calls Annabelle the only girlfriend of Sam's who has charm and charisma while loving him dearly. He lets her know that she's wrong, as it doesn't matter what Claire wears down the aisle, but their happiness. Coming to her senses, she heads to her son's office to make things right. Being honest with him, she lets him know that she isn't afraid of him marrying the wrong girl, but the perfect one, and forgetting about his mother. Sam assures her that she won't lose him but rather gain a daughter who needs a mother as well. Claire goes to Annabelle's shop to look for a dress for a customer. While looking around, she proceeds to tell the story about her mother-in-law who moves Annabelle. On Thanksgiving, Claire had been invited among 20 people to her mother-in-law's house. Seeing fine china for the first time and just being surrounded by luxury had overwhelmed young Claire so much that she had gone to the bathroom to cry. Just like Annabelle, she thought that the relationship was doomed, but her husband had assured her differently. He let her know that it is unfair to judge them, and that opened Claire's eyes, later finding out that his family were nice people. She apologizes to Annabelle for interfering with their wedding and even gives her the wedding dress she wore as something borrowed. As time passes, Annabelle and Sam's relationship get better and better, as well as her relationship with Claire. Getting into her house, Sam is surprised to hear that Annabelle had enjoyed the afternoon with his mother, as well as gotten a facial and a massage with her. Weeks before the wedding, Annabelle and Claire can be seen practicing and preparing everything for it like a true mother-daughter duo. They enjoy an international feast when Claire decides to go over the list for the reception. After confirming that everything's in order, she lets them know that the rental place will be set by 3. The guests are scheduled to arrive between 5 and 5:30. However, the sunset is 6:23, which is when they'll say I do. Sam is concerned about the rain, but Annabelle assures him that there won't be any. Claire chimes in to let them know that they're assured even if it rains. Unfortunately, the rain pours from the sky on their wedding day, and we can see that Annabelle is visibly upset. They have the rental as a backup plan, but Claire lets them know that there's been a flood over there. Devastated, Annabelle thinks that there's no other plan, but Claire lets them move the reception to her house. Rushing the altar, Sam and Annabelle finally get married, sharing their first kiss as a married couple, surrounded by their parents.